bring a new type of news show.
New insight, new style, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bring news just for you. It's Thursday, December 5th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and you're watching News Generation. Today, we're joined by Ki Kim.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Brooke Prince.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. So we're going to move on to our main discussion of the day. Today, we're going to look at the latest lifestyle trends among our generation. Take a look at the screen to find out more about today's topic. One of the most iconic scenes in K-dramas and movies is cooking and eating ramyeon at Hangang River Park. It's simple. You cook the noodles using an instant therm cooker at a convenience store, and in just a few minutes, your ramen is ready. Trying out Hangang Ramyeon has become a must-do activity for tourists visiting Korea. So recently, this very ramyeon cooker you just saw in the VCR that you can spot at convenience stores along the Hangang River Parks sealed an $8 million export deal at the 2024 Korea Business Expo in Vienna, Austria in October. And it's not just Austria because Hangang Ramyeon's influence is indeed spreading globally, right?
Yes, it's early in the morning and we have to talk about this, right?
Yes, it is
making
very
mouth
painful.
watered. Well, Korea Culture Center New York Bureau has been running this campaign called It's Time for K-Culture, and they have introduced Hangang Ramyeon as part of their program. So they wanted to bring Hangang vibe in there, so made a big convenience store mock-up and made a stand before a huge LED screen where they display scene from Hangang running on a screen, and there was even a person who came all the way from Florida to Manhattan to have this priceless experience. It's about 1,500 kilometers or literally 1,000 miles, which would be like a 15-hour drive, and it's that much popular.
I can definitely feel the passion and the love towards Korean ramyeon. It's really interesting because a few weeks ago we talked about kimchi and now we're talking about ramyeon together.
Always
I would
food.
drive 15 hours. It's better than a 15-hour flight for the ramen experience.
You are indeed a ramyeon lover too,
Yes,
Ki.
I am.
And you can find dozens of types of ramyeon anywhere here in Korea. You can enjoy it at convenience stores, restaurants, or even at your home, obviously. But why has eating ramyeon at the Hangang River Park become such a big trend, Brooke?
That's right. Hangang Ramyeon has become very widely known overseas because it's been featured in a lot of Korean content. And now eating this ramyeon at Hangang Park has become a must-see tourist attraction. It's a very famous meal, but it's a humble one. It's very cheap. You can get it for 3,000 to 4,000 won or just a few dollars. And it's very easy and convenient to eat. It doesn't take very long at all. But you might be wondering, well, why is it so special?
Right.
How is it different from the ramyeon I can just make at home? Well, there is a secret. So apparently it has to do with the cooking time. So the packet will tell you that you should cook it in boiled water for 4 to 4.5 minutes. But the cookers along Hangang Park only cook it for 3.5 minutes, a full minute less. And that means that your noodles are going to be a lot chewier. Also, there's less water. There's 40 to 170 milliliters less water that the cookers use at Hangang Park, which means that your broth is going to be more savory. It's going to be saltier. And so for these reasons, it's going to taste a little bit different. Well, you might think, well, now I have the secret. Let me just try making it by myself at home. It still won't taste the same because a lot of people, once they make their ramyeon at Hangang Park, they don't eat it right away. You have to walk to your spot for your little picnic that you're going to have on the river.
Enjoy the river view too.
During that time, those chewy noodles are going to marinate more in the broth, which is why it's so much more flavorful. And so I would definitely recommend if you're going to go to Hangang Park, you have to try the ramyeon. It is so delicious.
I mean, after listening to what you've said, Brooke, I think all of our viewers would want to try eating ramyeon at Hangang River Park. And this is kind of like an obvious question, but I want to also ask you guys, have you tried Hangang Ramyeon at the river parks? How was your experience?
No, I never have.
Really?
Of course I have.
You almost
Hangang Ramyeon was there as long as I remember. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, lots of younger generations, they would gather together around Hangang River Park during the picnic, enjoying their time. But back then, they didn't have this fancy ramyeon cooking machine. It was only a hot water machine for instant cup noodles. It's about 10 years ago, they started to install these cooking machines, and I've hosted this drone live show for around the Hangang River Park for the spring season and fall season. And I see lots of people ordering chicken, but also I could see a lot of them eating Hangang Ramyeon, especially in the fall season because the weather's gotten colder. And then the container changed too. Before, it used to be like a bent aluminum foil, but now it's a legitimate coated paper container. And for your tip, the kick is egg. They probably tell you at the store, and then they have it in the convenience store. After a minute or so, because they have the timer on the machine that tells you the time, put the egg after about a minute, and I'm going to sing this song again from last kimchi segment. 라면에 김치가 없었다면. Have that with kimchi or 단무지, sweet pickled radish. Then that's a perfect combination.
Another good tip for those who would like to try out Hangang Ramyeon at the Hangang River Park. And Brooke, I think you already gave us the answer, but did you also enjoy Hangang Ramyeon?
I have tried it, but I haven't tried it Keys way, so I'll have to try that way next time. But I have to admit, I'm not the best cook, and I love ramyeon, so I try to make it myself at home. But when I had Hangang Ramyeon for the first time, it was like I was tasting it for the first time in general. It was so different. It was so much more flavorful for all the reasons that I listed before, and also just because the atmosphere, the ambiance of Hangang Park, I think just naturally makes it taste better. And also you can get various snacks and chicken, like you mentioned. It just makes a whole meal, a whole occasion of it. And I would also like to recommend, if you go to Hangang Park, do it when the weather is a little bit chilly, like spring or fall, because there is nothing more comforting than a warm bowl of ramyeon when it's just a little bit chilly outside.
Oh, I just want to go to Hangang River Park right now
Me too.
and have some Hangang Ramyeon. Anyways, back to our discussion. We've heard from our panelists, and to hear more opinions, we're going to invite a Gen Z content creator from the Philippines to our talks after this break.
NewsGen wants to hear from you. Go to YouTube and search our channel Arirang News. Click Community and leave a comment down below. Make a new type of news with us.
So joining us today is David Gino, a young content creator from the Philippines who runs his YouTube channel, David Gino. Welcome to the show, David.
Hi, David.
Hello, annyeonghaseyo, mabuhay from the Philippines. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much for joining us. So David, we first want to ask you, how was your experience with Hangang Ramyeon and what particularly stood out for you?
Oh my goodness, I've been to Korea 5 times already since 2019 and definitely enjoying ramyeon by the Han River still remains one of my best experiences in Seoul. It was a real life K-drama moment. And what stood out for me was the atmosphere, as you mentioned in the show. I was with my friends. It was laid back. The relaxing experience, chatting over ramyeon with my friends, it's perfect with a cold breeze from the river because we were there during the spring season. So again, it was a very K-drama moment because I just only saw Han River in K-dramas and Ramyeon in K-dramas, and eating it in Han River, me myself, it was definitely an experience. So as a K-drama fan, it was surreal to finally experience it. And I love how very local the experience was because we were surrounded by locals, group of friends, group of families, couples, enjoying the Han River atmosphere.
I mean, the video clips we just saw, I believe it's shot by you and it makes us mouth-watered already. And many people pair Hangang Ramyeon with many other different dishes. And would you like to pair it with?
Generally, I love pairing ramyeon with eggs. So when I was with my friends in Han River last year, it was definitely with eggs. But I also added cheese and it made the ramen more flavorful. It became more tasteful. And as a cheese lover, I love it. And I also have friends who studied in Korea and they recommended trying it with sausage and canned tuna. So definitely, if I go back to Korea next year, I try it with sausage and canned tuna as well. And of course, the famous kimbap. So definitely more side dishes to try with ramyeon.
Well, David, I could definitely see why you're a successful YouTuber because you paint such a picture with words. So my question for you is, among all the Hangang River parks, which one is your favorite spot that you've been to so far to enjoy ramyeon?
Oh wow, there's a lot to explore in terms of Han River parks, but definitely the one that stood out and my favorite, hands down, the Banpo Hangang Park. I love it so much. And we were there again in spring, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, there's a rainbow fountain that operates from April to October. So around 4 to 6 times a day for 20 minutes, and we were able to witness that. So we were there in May last year, and the fountain was just so stunning. There were a lot of people, and I love that I was able to be, I was a part of that crowd. And although we ate the Hangang Ramyon after the show, because we just savored the rainbow fountain, I believe it will also be perfect to eat ramyon as you watch the fountain at night. And also there's a view of, skyscrapers in the park, and there's this colorful dome that I love. I love seeing it while eating the ramyon with my friends. In that Banpo Hanggang Park.
Right. And David, last but not least, you seem to know the best way to enjoy Hangang Ramyeon. Do you have any tips for cooking the best Hangang Ramyeon?
Oh, tips. I'm not a cook, so the automatic ramyun making machine really helps. So don't get intimidated in cooking ramyun, guys, because again, in convenience stores, there are machines that are ready for you to cook your ramyun. All right, so I love it. It's very convenient because in terms of cooking per se, there's nothing to worry about because it controls the water level and even the cooking time. So it won't be overcooked. So tips, 3 things. Number 1, choose a dish that you wish to be paired your ramyun with. May it be an egg, kimbap, for it to be more enjoyable. Number 2, choose a nice spot. So we sat on the ground near the Han River, and we definitely enjoyed it with the breeze from the river. It's a chilly night. I super love the atmosphere sitting on the ground. Again, it's a K-drama moment. And number 3, enjoy it with your friends. Enjoy it with your friends. I think ramen tastes best on top of being in the Han River. Ramen tastes best when it is shared with your loved ones. For me, in my case, it was with my friends. So it may not be your significant others, but with your friends during Han River, during at night in Han River with your friends. So yeah, those are my 3 tips for those who want to experience the Han River for the first time with ramyun.
I couldn't agree with you more. All right, David, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate your insights.
Thank you as well.
Thank you.
안녕하세요.
Thank you.
Bye. Right, so as we're talking about ramyeon, we also asked our viewers if they have their own unique way of enjoying the dish. Let's take a look at what they had to say. If we look at what our viewers said, Benny D97, I add an egg and after it's cooked, I also add cheese to enhance the mild flavor of jinramyeon. Joseph N8I says kimchi, egg, omuk, which is fish cake. Or KZLTV, I start by making garlic chili oil, then add water and ramyeon, just a bit less water than they suggest, which really brings out the flavor. Our viewers do indeed know how to enjoy the ramyeon in the best way. Now, expanding our discussion, here in Korea, ramyeon is often considered a go-to comfort food for many. For example, if you're feeling indecisive or don't have much of an appetite, ramyeon seems to be always a reliable choice. And lately, it seems to be becoming much more of a widely enjoyed dish, not only here in Korea, seeing a surge in global demand, right, Keith?
That is true. When I was in the States, unless I go to a Korean grocery store, I couldn't see any ramyeon. And it was only when my senior year in high school, I started some of the Korean ramyeon, like instant noodle, cup instant noodle at some of the stores or convenience stores in the States. And since 2019, the ramyeon export is starting to break the record every year. So if you take a look at the chart on the ramyeon export for the past few years, ramyeon export in the year 2023 has almost doubled that of 2019. And this year is growing even faster. And China and the United States are the biggest customers, and ramyeon is getting popular amongst European countries as well, like Jungfrau in Switzerland, or even in a small village of Ladakh in India, where they only have 3 hours of electricity for a whole day. You can smell the lovely scent of ramyeon in the entire village.
Wow, that is definitely interesting. So not only Hangang Ramyeon is gaining popularity, but also ramyeon in general is making its presence more on the global stage. Then Brooke, why do you think this is?
Well, yes, K-Ramyeon is currently enjoying such a huge heyday. This year, the ramyeon exports exceeded $1 billion for the first time, which is crazy. And the biggest reason for this, as we've been talking about, is of course the Korean wave, because ramyeon is the star of many scenes in Korean content. For example, my favorite movie, Parasite. It is an Oscar-winning film that included a very famous scene with chapaguri. Now, this is a combination of chapageti, which is black bean noodles, and nogori, which is a spicy Korean udon noodle dish. And in the movie, they also add sirloin to it. So a lot of people were trying to recreate that dish. Additionally, in Squid Game, the main character eats ramyeon. So because of all these viral scenes, people have been becoming more interested in Korean ramyeon and what it tastes like. And the other thing is that ramyeon is very cheap, easy, and reliable, like we said. So it is the perfect meal these days, and I think that's why it's been experiencing such a boom in popularity.
Right, so affordability, and also we keep seeing it in famous K-dramas and K-movies. And it's not just about ramyeon exports anymore. We're actually seeing Korean ramyeon being localized to fit the tastes of consumers in different countries, often blending it with unique local flavors. So you mentioned recreation, Brooke. So could you give us a few examples?
That's right. As global demand for Korean ramyeon has increased, they've become very clever and smart with their marketing strategies, and they've started using localization to appeal to local markets. For example, there's Shin Ramyeon Tamyeom, which is only sold in Thailand, and it utilizes flavors from one of their representative soup dishes. In China, there's also maratang flavored ramyeon, and then in the United States, we are known for some wacky, unique flavors. If you walk down the potato chip aisle in the US, you will see so many different kinds of flavors. And so they've started doing that with ramyeon as well, including a habanero lime stir-fried noodle ramyeon. I have to try that when I visit. There's also Shin Ramyeon Gold, which adds chicken broth to the base. And so I think that's because they want to add a sort of mild flavor to offset the spiciness to help appeal to the American palate. And of course, we have to talk about burdak. Burdak is very famous because it became viral for doing challenges on social media. Personally, I love spicy food, so it's never a challenge for me to eat a big bowl of burdak. But for a lot of people, it's very spicy, so they upload these challenges online. And so with all of these localized products, it creates a buzz around them, and it makes people want to travel to those places to try every different kind of ramyeon flavor that they can.
I mean, Brooke, I know that you're going to go to, you'll be in the States. So when you come back, please tell us how the American style of localized Korean ramyeon tastes.
For sure, I will update you.
Right, and ending off on a light note for our episode today, apart from Hangang Ramyeon, I want to talk about when or where you guys think ramyeon tastes the best. Personally, I think that ramyeon at night tastes the best. I don't know why. It's not the best for your health, but I just find ramyeon at night amazing. What do you think?
Anything at night is amazing, and
right.
That's not even a question. Ramyeon is best at any time,
Anytime
anywhere. But ramyeon is for sure one of the best hangover soup. And when you go camping, it's a rule. Everyone's just tired of having fun all night, and the smell of ramyeon wakes everyone up the next morning. So even my kid now loves ramyeon. He's only 5-year-old, and he eats ramyeon. Sometimes we have to just wash the noodles in water just to make sure that it's not too spicy. But kids love them. And last time when I went to the business trip down to Busan, there was a ramyeon museum where the entire wall was filled with different kinds of ramyeon from all sorts of different brands. I did not know there are like hundreds of different kinds of ramyeon there. And they, on the other side, they had this ramyeon cooking machines, and there were so many foreign visitors who were trying out all different sorts of ramyeon. Some are taking pictures or videos to upload them on the social medias. And everyone knows it tastes the best when someone else cooks the ramyeon, and then you just have to steal one bite. So when you cook at night, I'm just gonna steal one bite.
Okay. Well, please try. What about you, Brooke?
I personally think ramyeon tastes best in the PC방. So if you don't know, a PC방 is a place, it's a room with a bunch of computers where people go to play video games. And what many people might not know if you're visiting Korea for the first time is that there are so many foods that you can order there, food and drink. And ramyeon is one of the staples of PC방. I always get chapaghetti, which you talked about earlier. It's a black bean noodle. And for some reason, like we keep mentioning, when someone else makes it for you, it just tastes so
better.
much better. There's like a magic ingredient they put in it. But you can also get many different toppings like eggs, rice cake, cheese, and so it becomes more of a filling meal. So my recommendation is to try it at Han River Park, of course, but maybe stop by a PC방 and try their ramyeon as well.
Right, so try ramyeon when you go camping, also at PC방. Maybe if you're new to ramyeon, you could visit the ramyeon museum that he mentioned. And also, don't forget to try out Hangang Ramyon. And that's all from us today, but Newsden will be back tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Korea time. Special thanks today to Ki Kim.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Brooke Prince.
Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you. And thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.